What's up, brewing peeps? Brewing Daddy is back for season number 3. This is episode number 1, and we're going to be brewing up some AG Orange Golden Ale from Craft A Brew. This is a new recipe maker that we're trying out. One of our viewers suggested it, and we're going to give it a try. This is a 1 gallon recipe. These kits do not include the carbonation drops, the fizz drops, so we did purchase a 60 count bag of the fizz drops also to use with the recipes that we purchased. Let's see what's in the kit. Oh boy, there's a lot of stuff in here. First time I've opened this. So we got some sweet orange peel. That sounds good. That sounds real good. We got some kind of grains here. Doesn't have a label on it, but I'm assuming it is some type of grain. I'm not sure. I'm not that familiar with grains to know exactly what it is. There is no instructions inside, so we will have to download their instructions off the website or pull them up. They do have them on the website. We have some Cascade hops. We're very familiar with using those. We've used them a lot. And another package, and these are oh gosh, doesn't say how many ounces, but they're very small. And we have some dried malt extract here. It's Breeze Pilsen Light dried malt extract. I love brewing beer with the Pilsen Light malt extract. It's one of my favorite. On the flip side, with these guys, they don't provide the fizz drops, but they do provide a package of sanitizer. So this is good for a gallon of water, and they recommend, well, at least a half of the packets are good for a gallon of water. It's actually good for 2 gallons of water. So you can make up half of this, sanitizer 1 gallon of fermenter, save the other gallon or the other half of this to mix with a gallon of water to sanitizer bottles. We have a iodine sanitizer we use, so probably what we'll do is just save this for some other time when we got another project. We're not going to use that. And we have yeast. And of course it says add the whole pack. And this yeast is good by March of 2025. This is just a standard ale yeast. That's what it says on the package, as you can see right there. And we have a steeping bag for the grains. This looks like, gosh, I'm not real familiar with grains, but maybe a malt. I think that's a malt, maybe. But that's it. I mean, that's everything that's included with the recipe. Like I said, these were not included. You have to buy those separately. That's the only thing that's different with their kits. And they do not have instructions inside the box. What you can do is go to their website and download, and it's craftabrew.com, and download the instructions. I like their packaging. Their packaging is really cool looking. Yeah, there's not a whole lot of value in that, but I'm one that likes packaging, and their packaging looks really cool. And one thing about their packaging is inside there's a little photo of a beer glass full of beer. That's pretty cool. Anyways, all right, we're gonna get started with this one. Let's have some fun. All right, we're back. We got our burner set up. This is our Dark Star 2.0. We got this from Northern Brewer a while back. Great burner. We really enjoyed using it. Our 2 gallon pot, stainless pot, and we've already put in about 1/4 gallon. We always brew with about 1.25 gallons. The recipes always specify 1 gallon, but there's always a lot of evaporation, and this particular recipe calls for you to brew for 60 minutes, so I'm sure there's going to be tons of evaporation. I got everything set up that I'm going to be using. We got our lighter that we just lit the burner with. We use a chip clip or a little bag clip to clip our steeping grains onto the side of the pot. A stainless spoon with a long handle. We have our thermometer, so we can check our thermometer. We want to get this up to 155 degrees before we put our grains in the steeping bag and then drop it in. This recipe recommends 20 minutes steeping. So we're going to get that up. The temperature, matter of fact, we can go ahead and stick our thermometer in. And like I said, we already have about 1/4 gallon in, and then we're going to go ahead and add in this gallon. This water is actually tap water, but it's filtered through a Brita filter, so I filter out all the impurities, the chlorine, all that stuff. Since I started doing that, my beer turned out much, much better. The recipes just make a lot better beer. They ferment better, everything just tastes so much better. So if you're gonna be serious about brewing, you may wanna invest in some type of water filter, or buy like spring water, which can get expensive after a while. I recommend a water filter. They come with cartridge. I have the type, it's a tank style. Actually, if you look under my product reviews playlist, you'll see it, the product review for it. It's a great product. The cartridges last a while. You can get, I think, maybe 30, 40 gallons of water filter through one. I probably push it to closer to 50, but it does a great job, and it's just simple as changing out the cartridges whenever they, hit their lifespan. All right, so we got our water in, and it is almost 100 degrees, so it's moving pretty quick. This burner is really good. This little pot, this 2-gallon pot, it warms up stuff fast. So we're sitting at almost 100 degrees. I'd say about maybe 95 degrees. So we're gonna wait for this to heat up. While we're waiting, we're gonna drink our nice citrus wheat beer here and dream about this AG orange ale that we're gonna brew. Can't wait to drink this one. I'm really looking forward to it. All right, so we're back, and we've been watching our temperature, and we are already at 155 degrees now, so we can open up our bag of grains. Had to get a pair of scissors, because these you can't tear open. You're going to need a pair of scissors to open your yeast packet, and you should sanitize your yeast packet and your scissors. So the easiest way, just put it over the end of the bag, flip the bag over, just like that, dump it all out. So actually, I went and looked at their instructions, and it does not specify when you put the orange peel in. I'm guessing that you'll do it when you do the flavoring, because one of these Cascade hops is for aroma and bittering, and I'm assuming it will go in. Their instructions are very vague, but I'm assuming it'll go in when you do your aroma hops. That's what we're thinking. All right, so tie a knot so you don't lose your grains, and just dab them or dobble them, or just tie a knot in it and drop it down in your pot. And I'll kind of move them around a little bit just to get them saturated. You don't have to do all that. So I'm gonna just clamp this right here on the handle, because it's not hot like the rest of the pot, and it's down in there submerged well. We're gonna keep an eye on this. So a very important item that you need to have, which I did not have with me because I haven't brewed in so long that normally it would be like clockwork for me, but you need a kitchen timer. A digital one's great. All right, so I got my timer set for 20 minutes. The grains are steeping. It's 155 degrees, and we're gonna hit start. And it's just gonna count down for us. So this is a great little thing. I got it off of Amazon for like $4 or $5. Invest in one of these, it's great. It'll go off when it's ready, and we'll just keep an eye on the timer. We'll keep an eye on the heat. We don't want this going up too high. We got our burner set kind of on a low to medium setting. You want enough heat that it's gradually coming up, because once you pull these out, you want to be able to get ready to put your dried malt extract in. You're also going to put in your first batch of hops too, I believe, at the beginning of this brew. Okay, so one thing I overlooked, and with doing a new recipe that I'm not familiar with, and to be honest, I haven't like read up any of this information for just before starting this brew. So this recipe manufacturer is a little bit different. So I just noticed when I was looking at the packets that each one of them has instructions on them printed. So this one is the Cascade Aroma hops. This one you put in 2 minutes remaining in the boil. This one is the Cascade Bittering hops, and you put this at the start of the boil. So 60 minutes. The orange peel actually is supposed to be put in with 5 minutes remaining in the boil, as you can see from the package. So there's a general process for putting in your malt, how long you brew it, your steeping bag and grains and all that, and it doesn't change much, but these are all labeled. Anything that's different. So with Craft A Brew, they have the standard generic instruction PDF file you can download, and then each one of the special ingredients, if it's different than what is listed on the standard recipe, will be specified. So a lot easier. There's just one basically instruction for all their brews, and anything different is specified on the package. So that's pretty cool. I like that. You know, it keeps things simple. I'm going to have a link to that PDF file in the description of the video, so you can download that and save it, and it's going to apply to every brew that you do with them, unless there's something special that about it. But anyways, I thought I'd add that because that is a very important detail that I kind of overlooked. But anyways, we are still waiting. We got 12 minutes, so we got about 12 minutes remaining, and we'll be pulling these grains out. We'll see you then. All right, so our timer's been going off, and we are a little bit warmer than we should be. So with their instructions, and like Northern Brewer and the other recipes I've done, they just tell you to heat it slowly, and they don't specify to maintain it at the 155, but Craft A Brew does say try to maintain it there. So I cut my heat back a little bit. It's still up. It's still like over 180. But I don't think that's a huge deal. The timer did go off, so I'm gonna get these out and let all the juice drain out of this. Now, they do say specifically in the instructions, Craft A Brew suggests do not squeeze the liquid out of the grains, because you're going to release tannins, and you don't want to release the tannins into your wort. So that looks pretty good. So now we can get our heat up. They actually suggest going ahead and putting in, I mean, we're 185-ish, getting up closer. I just did turn the heat up before I pulled out the steeping grains. We're moving up pretty quick, so we're around 190. I'm going to go ahead. They suggest putting them in. They say cut the heat, but I'm not going to cut the heat. But I'm going to go ahead and put them in, and I'm going to bring the heat up. I'm not going to start the timer until we get up to the boiling point. And I'm actually going to go ahead and pull my thermometer out, because I don't want all that malt on my thermometer. So we're going to stir this in too as we put it in, so it's not clumpy. I recommend stirring this in slowly, because otherwise it'll be super clumpy, and you don't want it clumpy. You're going to have to watch this, because this stuff will boil over, and I've had it happen. That's one reason I'm not a huge fan of these dried malt extract recipes, even though I do like the beer that is made from them. Alright, so We need to mix this up really good. It's very clumpy. I'm going to push it down in there. We didn't do a very good job of stirring it. We got a lot of clumps in it. It will dissolve though. And I would recommend just bringing this up. I may put the thermometer back in it once I get all this dried malt dissolved, just so I can kind of keep an eye on the temperature. But it's looking a lot better. One thing you want to watch is the foam. You just want to keep your foam down. Once you get that, your foam will build a little bit as you get closer to the boil. And once you hit the boil, the foam will just disappear. It goes away. So you just have to stir it constantly. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to stir it a lot. Alright, so once we get this up to a boil, we'll come back and we'll set our timer. And we'll, I believe we're going to be putting in, one of these hops, actually. Yep, we're going to put this one in once the boil starts. So we'll set that one off to the side. And just keep watching this and stirring it. We'll be back when it's time to put in our first batch of hops. We're getting really, really close. Matter of fact, we got a slow boil going and we're right at like 218 degrees. Yep, there, I see some bubbles, so we're there. And that worked out pretty good. I didn't have any worries of a boil over, so I think moving forward, that worked out pretty good. I think moving forward, I'll probably introduce my malt a lot earlier than I have in the past. So we do have a slow rolling boil already started here. I'm gonna go ahead and get in our first hops addition. I get in our first hops addition, and that's what they look like. They smell great. I'm gonna tell you what, I miss brewing. I'm glad I'm back at it again. I just love the way the beer, the malt smells, the hops smell. This smells like a Pilsner, and that's exactly what it is. All right, so that's pellet hops. We got those in there, and we already got our timer set for 1 hour, so that's what we're gonna boil it. So we're gonna start that, and we got a long, long wait. We're gonna stir these in good. I can kind of tell they've already dissolved. I got a hop spider, but to be honest, the small of a batch is just not worth it. And I kind of like the fact of not filtering out all of that. It just gives it a good organic taste. And to be honest, when you cool your wort and you let everything settle at the bottom, as long as you're not pouring out a lot of the sediment in the bottom, you don't get a whole lot into your fermenter. And then again, when you're bottling, you know, whatever's left is going to be in the bottom of your fermenter, and you're not going to pull all that out. So I don't get a whole lot of sediment in my beers, even though I don't like filter any of it. For the 1 gallons, I don't. Sometimes I will on a 5 gallon because it's just so much more volume. But that looks really good. Beautiful color. Look at that color. This is going to be a nice light golden color. I love the smell. It just smells wonderful. I can't wait to drink this beer. I can't wait to smell what it's going to smell like once I introduce the orange peel into it. So we're at the point now where we're going to be just letting this sit for 60 minutes. And that little bit of time there already passed. We're down to 58. But before I go, I want to talk a little bit about sanitation. I just go to Sam's and I buy a 4-pack of these disinfectant wipes. And this is what I'll wipe down all my surfaces with. I keep my countertop clean with this. Sometimes I will wipe off like my thermometer with it if I'm in a hurry. It does disinfect it, you know, rather than trying to mix up sanitizer and dip it in. You know, at this point, I just want to like wipe it off. So I'll use one of these when I'm ready to put this in my pot when I'm cooling it in the ice bath. So this helps out a lot. I recommend a product like this, and any kind of wipe will work. It doesn't have to be Sam's. It can be Clorox. It can be another brand. It can be, you know, Walmart brand or whatever brand you got. But these things are great, and you know, it doesn't really matter on the scent. These are orange scented, but I think I got some that are lemon, some that are plain. It doesn't really matter. It's just it's great for wiping surfaces down. You know, sometimes in the middle of brewing, when I got a little bit of a mess, this comes in handy in a roll of paper towels. All right, so we got 50 something minutes left on this. We're gonna let this boil on a slow rolling boil, and it's perfect right now. It's just doing its thing. Smells wonderful. We're gonna keep this going for an hour and we'll be back. So we're getting very close to our 5-minute mark. I'm gonna go ahead and open up our orange peel. This goes in at 5 minutes remaining. I'm gonna go ahead and put it in. It smells good. And because we're so close, only about 20 seconds away. Stir that in real good. It smells wonderful. Probably would have been better to like put that in like a hops bag or something, but it's all right. Hopefully it won't clog up my fermenter. I may actually, I'm thinking about possibly straining this as I pour it into the fermenter, so I may do that. I have a strainer I can use. Well, I can smell that orange peel. It smells good. That's gonna taste really good. I'm sure this is gonna be a great beer. It did boil down a lot. I kind of wish I would have put more water than I did. Matter of fact, I don't think this is going to be anywhere near a gallon. So when I put it in the fermenter, I may have to add some water to it. While we're waiting, at this point you would have already used this. At this point, would have already used this sanitation packet, half of it, to make a gallon of water to put in your fermenter. Mine's already sitting to the side. It's full of my iodine solution, and it's already sanitized. So once we get ready to pour this into the fermenter, I mean, it's all good to go. Everything's in there and sanitizing, the lid, stopper, the airlock. And I'll dunk the yeast packet in there for a minute or so. And I'll put the scissors in there also to sanitize it. They do recommend, or at least some of the manufacturers recommend that. But this you would normally use. It's just a powder. You pour about half of it into a gallon of water, warm water, so it would work best, so it'll dissolve. But this stuff dissolves pretty good. And it's a no rinse, so once you use it, you can just pour it out. You don't have to rinse it. But we're going to save it. We're not going to use it this time. We'll save it for a later time. Oh, so time to put our hops in. So right at the 2-minute mark, get our hops in, and let's stir this up good. I think I'm getting towards the end of this propane tank, and I'm nervous about being in the middle of a brew with it and it emptying out on me. I've been lucky. I thought it was going to happen a while ago, but I've already went through about 3 brews since then when I thought it would. So yeah, I'm definitely going to have to strain this. There's no way I'm going to be able to leave all that in there. Hopefully it'll give it enough flavor. I think it will. It should. I can smell it. I can smell the orange. We're definitely going to have to strain all that out of there, though, into the fermenter. If not, we'll have a mess in our fermenter. All right, so our timer is about to go off. So what we're going to do, we're going to cut the heat on this. We'll turn off our burner, and we're going to prepare our ice bath, and we're going to get it moved over in there and cool it off. And then we'll come back and we'll put it into our fermenter and go from there. We'll see you in a few. All right, so we got an ice bath here. Go ahead and get it all iced up. We're gonna let that sit. And it should cool down here, maybe 30 minutes or so. And we'll be able to transfer it into our fermenter once it's cooled off. All right, we're back, and all I can say is brewing beer is hard work. Time for some refreshment. Cheers. Ah, that's good. All right, so we got our work cooled off. We got our sanitized fermenter here. So I decided, instead of using a strainer, I'm going to use my hop spider to pour the wort through to catch all the debris, because there's a ton of debris in here from the orange peel. So we're going to do that. I've never used it that way, but I think it'll work because it's small enough. So we do have to aerate this according to the instructions, but you want to bring this down to about 75 degrees, and we're right at 75 degrees. It looks pretty good. It smells awesome. And I'm actually going to try to pour most of this in here since I'm straining it. I think it'll catch the majority of it. All right. And we're just below the 1 gallon mark. We gotta let this hot spider drain good. Doing its job, you can tell, because it's still got some liquid in it though. So what we're going to do, we're going to let this drain really good, and I can still see quite a bit of liquid in here. It's coming out though, slow but sure. We're going to let this drain good because I want to get as close to the 1 gallon mark as possible. I may even add a little bit of water to this because we're about an inch below the 1 gallon mark. And whenever I have brewed, and well, I'll tell you what, this hot spider caught a lot of trash. Whenever I brewed, I may have to use this technique in the future. The only problem is it's such a fine mesh that I still got liquid in here and it doesn't want to all go out. So if you want to see, I don't know if you can see from the camera or not, try to put it towards both the cameras. But you can see what's remaining in there. There's still a little bit of liquid, but not much. It's pretty much, but there's a lot of sludge down there. Closer look at it. So it did what I wanted it to. That was actually a pretty good idea. All right, so we're sitting at, I'm gonna grab my water jug and I'm gonna add a little bit of water to this. So I got my water jug, I'm gonna add a little bit to this. It's about 3/4 of an inch away from where it should be. There we go, we're good. We actually went a little bit above. So what we're gonna do now is we are going to aerate this before we put the yeast in it. The recipe does call for aerating it for about a minute. So I'm gonna put the lid on it. I'm just gonna cover. I'm just gonna hold the airlock because I got about a half of it with sanitation solution. So I'm just gonna keep my finger over it, swish it around. I only have to do this for about a minute. So just to get some air in it. A lot of recipes don't specify this, but it's not a bad idea to do this, even with your 1 gallon batches. that sound? It feels like about a minute. So let's pull that off. Let's just stick our airlock on there real quick. This is a clean towel. So we're gonna pitch our yeast. And I did sanitize the scissors as well as the yeast packet. Oh, need to cut it a little bit lower. There we go. So you just want to sprinkle your yeast over the top. Not very much yeast in that packet. All right, so we're going to remove our airlock while we put our lid on, because we don't want to create a mess with our fluid blowing out of the top of it, because it will. All right, so we are all set. Looks really good. Got it aerated, got lots of bubbles there. You know, I'll put a gallon and a quarter roughly in the kettle before I brewed. And this thing ended up being about an inch roughly below the 1 gallon mark. And I'm gonna tell you, that'll make maybe 9 beers if I'm lucky. I've had as many as, or as little as 8 come out of a batch that was a good bit below, about that same amount. So I'm very hesitant about not adding additional water. I'd rather add it during the brew than have to add it later, like I just did. But I want to make sure that I get at least 10 beers. You should get 10 beers out of this. All right, it's been fun. I am so glad to be back brewing again. I really enjoyed this one. I can't wait to taste this one. I think this is going to be a great beer. I got a lot of fun recipes coming up. So make sure you subscribe to our channel so you can see those. Check out our sponsor, morebeer.com. I'll also put a link in the description for a beer similar to this one if they have it. I think they do have an orange Pilsner type beer, so I'll link to that. I'm not an affiliate with Craft A Brew, but I wish they had an affiliate program, because I would join them. But you're welcome to go there and buy it if you want, you know, but if not, then that's fine. But also make sure you check out brewingcruise.com. We are doing an annual cruise on the Carnival Vista, going to Grand Turk and Aruba and Curacao. And going to be cruising the Southern Caribbean on an 8-day cruise. It's going to be a lot of fun. Carnival Vista has a brewery on board. We're going to tour the brewery, and we're going to hit some beer places there, joints, and possibly even a brewery if we can get to it, if it's possible to arrange a tour. And I believe that one is on Curacao. Can't remember the name of it. But we are going to be doing a lot of stuff like that. We do cruise a lot. And this will be our first time on the Vista and our first time touring a brewery on the ship. And it's a really cool concept. So if you want to join us, check out brewerycruise.com. Don't forget about Brewing Daddy. That's our website, brewingdaddy.com. Check it out. And hope y'all had a great holiday. I hope y'all had a Merry Christmas. And you're having a Happy New Year. And we'll see you next time. Peace out.